Hey, everybody. It's late. It's incredibly late. I really should have gone to bed hours ago. Hours and hours, as a matter of fact. But I was having certain technical difficulties, and so I chose to push forward through them. And of course I overcame. I did slay the dragon as 'twere. Anyway, so I done did it, and I decided to do the thing that I do, seeing how it's a weekend and whatnot. I'm gonna slide this over here right quick, and you know what time it is, but first I have to do what we always have done because I have to play the theme song. You know the theme song. Don't act like you don't know the theme song. Sing along if you know it.
This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme. This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme.
Yeah, and I would like to thank the Chanticleer Rejects for singing that. They're a musical group whose name I don't remember, who shall not be thanked in this week's friggin' closing credits because I forgot to put them in. I'll put them in. Hold up just a second. Pause. And in literally no time at all, they're there. Anyway, let's get started. I have to do that voice that I always do in every episode and have never not done in a single episode ever. It's the 8th one. I've done it in the 7 previous episodes, all of them without fail. Here we go. Weekend Type Fun, Volume 8. Everybody loves the voice. Sure do. Anyway, Part 1. A non-exhaustive list of ways in which unscrupulous persons have murdered me. And when I say murdered, I mean precisely what you think I mean. What follows is a list of ways in which my life has come to a number of unfortunate and untimely ends. Number 1. Lord Chattering Codswallop the 14th convinced a bull elephant that I was a female elephant in heat. The excited male cleft my anus in twain, and I was left to bleed the remainder of my life's blood out of my gaping rectal wound, and the pain was unspeakable, as was this accent which is going all over the place and is done now. Stupid accent. It's hard to keep going, dingus. Charles Mingus. Come on. All right, just do the accent. The people like the accent. Okay, we got it. I was shot in the left testicle with a blunderbuss after having been cut. Shall we say? That's pretty sure that's how I do Hagrid for my kids when we read Harry Potter. They will not let me do any other voice ever. They won't. If I try to do any other voice, they're like, no, you stop it. You stop. If I try to do a Severus Snape, Harry Potter, I'm going to Avada Kedavra you in the face. You know, a little bit of that nonsense. They're like, no, you don't do that. And I'm like, oh, God, children. Anyway, so, yeah, let's read this in an accent. I got done shot in the left testicle with a blunderbuss. Doesn't work. I was shot in the left testicle with a blunderbuss after having been caught, shall we say, in an indecent state with the wife of a visiting foreign dignitary whose name escapes me at the moment. His wife's name was Cunegonde, and she had double-jointed breasts. Oh, yes, I remember her very well. Number 3. I caught the plague from a travelling merkin merchant. His merchandise was truly something to behold, but unfortunately nobody's wife got to see my purchase, not even mine, if you know what I mean. I'll tell you what, once you've been to community college, you can ruddy well do any old British accent they call for. Ain't it right, governor? You're a good bloke. Yeah, you're a good bloke. So what say I don't put this knife into your gullet and you give me 5 quid, see? I'ma go get me a pint of the good. Anyway, that is what we call a upper-class gentleman's accent. Yep, the upper-class gentleman. Rarely used, rarely heard. As was my duty to the crown, I was overseeing the execution of some uppity northerner or another, and let's just say the axeman's backswing hit its mark surer than the foreswing did. You know what I mean? I'd rather think you do. Number 5. The chieftain of some savage tribe or another had me buried up to my neck in an ant-hill because his daughter gave birth to a curiously light-skinned baby. If only these people would learn to stop blaming their problems on the empire, they might actually have a nation of their own someday. There's sometimes a sad commentary hidden behind the joke, where it's like, oh, people were really racist back then and really thought things like this. How do I know? Because I've read anthropological journals from the 17 and 1800s. And this is pretty much it. This is pretty much what you get. Anyway, moving onward. I had a brief stint as an involuntary kamikaze during the war. That one was over quick enough. The death, I mean. Good heavens, the war dragged on a piece. Did it not? No, I dare say it did. Number 7. Hit in the head with the safe containing my life savings. My dastardly nephew managed to both arrange for my murder and the purloining of my personal fortune in one fell swoop. Well, the safe didn't so much swoop as it did fall straight as an arrow and crush my unsuspecting head like an overripe papaya. Overripe papaya. That's a good tongue twister if you're an actorly sort, if you like. Unique New York. Unique New York. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Overripe papaya. Overripe papaya. The Queen has never done anything wrong. The Queen has never done anything wrong. Unique New York. Unique New York. We apologize. The person's voice that you just heard, the person behind the voice, the person now it's happening to me. Anyway, he went crazy. We had to shoot him, and now I'm going to get shot. Bang. Oh, sound effects budget ain't what it used to be. Moving on. The gypsy's curse proved to be much more effective than I'd previously thought. Now, here's the thing I wonder. and this is a valid concern, okay? So, Gogol Bordello, your favorite gypsy punk band. They are your favorite gypsy punk band. They are perhaps the only gypsy punk band you know, for reasons partially having to do with the fact that they are the only gypsy punk band anyone knows, except for a guy sitting somewhere who heard that and is like, I know another one because my knowledge of things is vast. Anyway, regardless. So I've heard that they prefer to be called Roma. And I've also heard that, because gypsy has negative connotations and people use the word gyp, tying it to a stereotype that Roma were untrustworthy, conniving, thieving types. Anyway, regardless. So it seems that there's been some reclamation of the word gypsy, like Gogol Bordello has an album called Gypsy Punks. So have they reclaimed the term? These are legitimate questions. I mean, in the middle of attempting and failing at comedy, we have very important questions. Anyway, comment down below if you are one of those filthy gypsies. You got warts all over you, and you steal foreigners' money, and you have no conscience whatsoever. Oh, geez, every bad stereotype. No, I actually Okay, I'm a backtrack because it makes it seem like I have a negative view of Roma. I do not, as a matter of fact. I've had no interactions with them over the course of my life, other than Gogol Bordello music videos, which do yourself a favor and go see the one is called Immigrada, I believe. They come in rougher. It's a really good video. It's awesome, and I like it. Anyway, important questions. Sidetracking the comedy. What little there was to begin with. On a dare from the Duchess de Grand Cule, whose bloomers I was desirous to ascend, I attempted to cross the tracks on a penny farthing before the locomotive arrived. I was not successful in either endeavor. Yeah, that was a terrible reading of a semi-humorous bit. Thanks, me. 2 words. Poisoned monocle.
Pim, they poisoned my monocle, they did. They poisoned me monocle.
Yep, all of the accents.
I am a proper British gentleman. Oi. Righto. Pip, pip, cheerio and whatnot. I wear a monocle. And it is poisonade. Oh, yeah, let's definitely have this. What?
Part 2, education. I'm trying to run a professional show here, and I just... Look, I'm going to tell you the truth. I would yell at a room full of white people, but I'm growing tired of that. Just, now's not a time for too many white people. I mean, I'm me. I'm enough. Okay, this program attempts to provide important educational messages to the community whenever possible. We feel the program has a certain lull and has hit a certain lull. Boy, did it. Never really got off the ground. And will not therefore suffer a drop in interest if we place this segment here. Yes, people aren't going to notice. Go get a snack. This is the part where you go get a snack. Just open the fridge and stare blankly and pretend that you're not helping kill the planet with the fridge open, wasting electricity. Do it. You're going to anyway. Okay, So it won't seem like it to you at all, but I did, in fact, do just what I suggested. I went and got some food. I put it in my face. I ate it with my mouth bit. I chewed it and swallowed it, and now I'm ready to be educated. So, but now I have to do a quick microphone check. I check these levels. How we do that is I just say some words. They have a list for me. Just read the words on the list. They're just nonsense and unconnected. They just want to see how certain vowel sounds hit the microphone. Okay. Swollen. Swollen. Thick. Thick. Girthy. Girthy. Engorged. Engorged. Frothing. Frothing. Juicy. Juicy. Ejaculation. Ejaculation. Actually, you know what's hilarious? Is the word ejaculation. One of the primary meanings of the word is to say something loudly, to sort of interject with a loud statement. And so the following sentence could be 100% clean, with no sexual content whatsoever. "Oh, yes," the woman ejaculated. See, that's just an excited woman who's saying, "Oh, yes." No sexual content whatsoever. She's just happy and saying, "Oh, yes." Has nothing to do with the sort of multiple failed attempts at leapfrog her fully nude male counterpart has attempted. He just keeps failing. He is no good at leapfrog whatsoever. Anyway, moving on. This bizarre spectacle, unlike anything I've ever seen. Education. How to not be gay. A guide for, by, and about concerned Christians for Christ who engage in precisely the type of nosy naysaying that Jesus himself was so famous for. Or for short. Don't forget the f. Actually, I think it's more definitely the microphone loved that sound. And so did we all. So did we all. How to not be gay. Are you a fruit, gaywad, queer, dyke, switch hitter, homo, pansy, Nancy boy, lady lumberjack, puff, bugger, femboy, fruitcake, queen, top, bottom, power bottom, nuclear power bottom? Now that's a new one. See. A power bottom, you see, is a man who could take a bowling pin without squinting. And a nuclear power bottom is a man who could take a bowling pin without squinting and bring the bowling pin to climax. This episode is definitely not for students. If you are a student, I will find out. I will find out that you have watched this, and I will, oh boy, I don't know what I could possibly do, but just whatever. Okay, how to not be gay. Let's start the list again because it's fun to read. Are you a fruit, gaywad, queer, dyke, switch hitter, homo, pansy, Nancy boy, lady lumberjack, puff, bugger, femboy, fruitcake, queen, top, bottom, power bottom, nuclear power bottom, sodomite, gold star, bent, rug muncher, bear, twink, fairy, lipstick, flamer, or Gaysian? If so, this message is for you. Now, Jesus Christ wants you. He does. He wants you. But guys, okay, the women, like, maybe think about a man in that way. But men, no. This is our Lord and Savior. He's smiling and happy, and he wants you to be a good Christian. Being a good Christian means not being gay, and it always has been. Always since the beginning. You could look back at the early records of Christianity. There was one debate and one debate only. How mean should we be to gay people? And the answer was either super mean or straightforwardly not mean, but like actually mean when we're trying to be nice. Yeah. Anyway. Guess which one will run out? It's a matter of historical record. Moving on. Jesus. Follow this handy guide, and you'll be as approved by God as these two. A normal, God-fearing couple circa 1984. I know the picture's a little dated, but look at this woman. She loves Jesus so much her mascara is running. And this man loves Jesus so much that sleeves fell off his sweater. It just, that's how much it is. He loves Jesus, and the sleeves were just gone. My microphone definitely loved that sound. It peaked in a way that was terrifying. Your earballs probably exploded. I apologize to your earballs. Okay. Butch it up, Nancy. A message to the men. Learn to be a manly man like this construction worker here who works hard every day, rubbing sweaty shoulders with other hard-working men. Then he goes home to the village because that's where the picture says he lives. I bet he has a wife there, a wife like you'll have if you'll just learn to be manly like David here. A manlier man I have never seen. Nancy it up, Butch. A message to the women. Take a page out of the book of the woman on the right. Her name is Cristal, and I met her at a quaint little bar. Situation, supposed to be situated. Situated. I gotta fix mistakes as we make them. No, as we discover them. If I had fixed them as I made them, then you wouldn't be seeing them now. Her name is Cristal, and I met her in a quaint little bar situated rather too near the airport, I thought. Anyway, despite her unfortunately large Adam's apple and rather large and meaty hands, Cristal manages to be the very picture of femininity. You boot-wearing, Subaru-driving, forest-dwelling types ought to take a page out of her book. Note her subtle makeup and feminine figure. Now this is a young woman who will make some lucky man very happy someday. Okay, here are other ways to not be gay. If the first two didn't work for you, maybe you're mega super ultra gay. Oh, don't think you're beyond the help of Jesus. If you're mega super ultra gay, Jesus is coming for you. He's coming for you. He wants you. He's coming for you. He's knocking on your door. He's sliding his hand on that doorknob. That's right. He's got his hand on the knob, just like in that picture. Behold, I stand at the door and knock, and he that will let me in, I will sup with him, and him with me. And we'll talk about, like, whatever happened last week on Wendy Williams and would just be like, two bros. Two bros. See, I can quote scripture. People acting like I can't quote scripture. For lo, thus saith the Lord, when two bros doth hangeth out and talk about Wendy Williams, it be not gay. It just be two bros who know how to have some bro time. Anyway, try to think about Jesus while not picturing what it'd be like if that loincloth slipped a little. The gays sometimes, they'll be like, oh, maybe give it a... No. I've looked at this painting for a long time. The loincloth is staying. You cannot undress Jesus with your eyes. It's not happening. I've tried just to see if Satan would allow that to happen. You know, Satan's a tricky little booger. It's a tricky little booger. That's what it says in the Bible. For lo, Satan was a tricky little booger. And the people did say unto the Lord, Hey, Lord, why the crap would you leave us here with this guy to make us not do what you told us to do the whole time? And the Lord was like, I work in mysterious ways. Like, how about not so many questions? I got a master plan. And the people be like, can we pray? And the Lord was like, for what? And the people were like, I don't know, stuff we want. And the Lord was like, didn't I already say I would prepare things for you, like in my plan? I mean, I clothe the lilies of the field, friend. Like, what? You're going to pray for... Look, I have a plan. Don't go mucking up my plan with you asking for stuff, because I have a plan for how things are going to go. So, like, just... I mean, you can pray. I'm not going to say don't pray. I'm just going to say, like, I'm not going to really listen when you do that because, first of all, have you heard yourself? You're kind of annoying. And number two, number dos, number the second one, yeah, I can't just give you what you want. Do you think God, the most godly of godities, want to be having kids who are like, I wanted this one. I want a Power Ranger. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. I'm not friggin' Santa Claus. I don't just give out Power Rangers. That's what people pray for the most. Can I have a Power Ranger? And they'd be like, I'd be like, which one? And they'd be like, the red one that murdered somebody? Anyway, yep, that's the one. All right, moving on. Other ways to not be gay. It's probably not best to think about this picture because this, first of all, this loincloth is like, boop. You can see half of his like V bits, like Brad Pitt, you know, in remember that one scene in Fight Club when Brad Pitt's like, check out my V parts that point to my, you know, that part of me. And you're like, oh, I wish I wasn't looking there, Brad Pitt. But his bonitals, his like pelvic thrusticles were like, hey, take an extra long look in my area. Which is why you shouldn't go see them R-rated movies. They're full of pelvicals and thrusticles and lookatals at genitals. It's just not right. But look at how ripped this Jesus is. That's like gay heaven. He all juiced up and sweaty and like, oh, Jesus, super strong. Yeah.
Jesus, that's no way to behave. And on your first day out. But since you're such an exceptional beauty, I'm prepared to forgive you. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's, you all remember that scene from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Remember, it's right after the part where
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Other ways to not be gay. Don't think about this one. This by one of the great Italian masters, Renoimbert. Renoimbert. Yep, one of the great Italian masters. And his masterpiece. No, I mean the painting. I mean this area, like, no. No. Nope. 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 I wish I could red this area so that you would know not to look there. Anyway. Hey, you know what? You need pictures of Jesus? How about this one? I mean, look. This guy is like man pretty. He's like a pretty man. Like if you shaved him and put him in a dress, then like you would basically have a beautiful woman, basically is what I'm saying. And look at those eyes. They have a certain like, hey, you know what? I see you. I see what you're bringing to the table, and guess what? You're invited to the party. Hey, you're good enough. Hey, don't for a moment think you're not good enough. You're coming to this party. Yeah. Get over here, you. Like, for real, I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, you mean me? You don't mean that guy behind me? Oh my God, Jesus, like, I feel like one of your chosen people. Anyway, it's okay because you're only seeing it from the shoulders up. You're not, like, staring at that Jesus loinital area or the booty. There'd be some Jesus booty pics. Like, you don't want any of those. Anyway, moving on. Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Which one of you jokers did this? Come on. Fess up. Do it. This is the Lord. He's my Lord that we're talking about here. And there is no way that you're allowed to show the Lord's pubitals. Also, wait a minute. Hold the... Okay. Look at this. Jesus is wearing a cross. How close do you think Jesus wants to be to crosses anymore? Like, come on. Jesus doesn't want to have anything to do with crosses. I know it's been done. You're thinking to yourself, hey, hasn't this been done? Yeah, but you know what's on this little miniature cross? A miniature him being put to death. You think he's going to wear an image like, oh my God. Do you think Elvis wants like a freaking necklace with like an effigy of his fattity self from the end of his life eating too many peanut butter banana sandwiches and dying on the toilet? You think Elvis wants to hang a toilet around his neck? No. Like, come on. And a toilet with an Elvis on it. A fat Elvis. Like, that's what this is. This is fat Elvis on a toilet. Sorry. Oh, my God. Some of my peoples take the Christian iconography very seriously. And so when I'm like, this fat Elvis on a toilet, if they were to ever see this, they would be very sad. Let's move onward. Other ways to not be gay. Oh, that's right. We're trying to fix the lesbos too. Rewind the video, and when I tell the guys like, don't think about this one, maybe you like think about it. Like, just think about it, because I think God will be like, well, you're not really supposed to, but it is helping you avoid the terrible, terrible sin of living the sexuality that I implanted in you. So yeah, it's okay. Like, right? Okay. Uh, my God. If ever there was a time for me to edit, it'd be right there, but I'm not gonna. Oh, okay. Time to get depressing. Other ways to not be gay. Attach electrodes to your genitals and force yourself to watch nude images of men and women, shocking yourself if you become aroused at the wrong time. Hey, here's a fun fact. The Mormon Church actually did this to self-reporting gay BYU students in the 1970s. It's true. It's been documented. Okay, why do I always have to include a sad fact? I mean, look, my brain when I get under certain influences starts being like, you know what's funny? Gay stuff. And like but then I always start thinking like, oh man, like I don't try to like joke at the expense of gay people. I like try to joke about how we react to the concept of homosexuality within American society sometimes. Anyway, that's always the point, but like sometimes that definitely does not come across. Anyway, but like here are two possible reasons for why I include sad facts. Number one, my comediness is all broke to bits by an increasingly addled brain. That's not particularly possible. I'm not very addled tonight, as luck would have it. Or how about this one? Could be that American society has been truly awful to gay people for a very long time. That might be a thing that's true. I mean, maybe. Hey, oh, this is actually very exciting. So today, last day of school, and teachers' last day of school, students' last day of school is yesterday. I had to do all the like checkout nonsense. So I was informed that I have official permission to start a GSA and a gay straight alliance, which I get to sponsor it and I get to write the founding documents for it. And I have to say, like, out of all the things that I've ever done as a teacher, this one might be the most important. Like, at my uncle's funeral a couple years back, I really started thinking about legacy because the legacy that man left behind is just incalculable. The number of lives that he touched for the better is incredible. And, like I'm not always the best with people. I'm often awkward and stunted and weird. I don't hug them when they need hugs. I definitely don't say the L word. Lesbians. When they are like, hey, do you L word? And I'm like, haha, joke instead. I didn't even like students that I actually really care about. At graduation, just t'other night, moments where we should have hugged, I was like doing like, haha, it's hilarious. I'm hover handing you in a picture. And like, I should have just hugged people. But I have this big mental block about it. And I'm sorry. So like, I have weird things about me. And like, I often feel like I'm never going to leave the kind of legacy that my uncle left, because of the type of person that he was. He's that sort of rare person who can make you feel like you are the most important person in the world when he is listening to you, because he is giving you all of his attention. And he is, genuinely interested in you and what you are on about. I'm very bad at those things. And so, like, when I think about my legacy, it was like, well, what can I... And this is not just, like... When I say legacy, I understand that I will be dead someday in the future. And I also understand that I will be forgotten someday in the future. And that's okay. Like, a lot of very awesome people in the world have been forgotten. And it's not because we don't care about these people, it's that we can't possibly care about everyone. And people tend to be cared about the most by people who knew them when they were alive. Anyway, so yeah, I know that I'm going to die. I know that I'm going to be forgotten at some point. But like, when you think about your legacy, you think about good that you can put into the world that will survive your own death. And not for you to get credit for it, and not for people to stop and say like, "Oh, you know who did this." It is not for that. It is so that you can have something good in the world that has your fingerprints on it after your death. Like, something that matters as a monument to your existence. But an unknown, unspoken, unmarked monument that no one knows bears your fingerprints. Like, I'm all for that. So like, if, let's say I've got, I know people don't like it when I put low estimates, so I'll just give an unnaturally high estimate. Let's say that I've got like 60 years left in me. That make me 101 at the time of my passing, which would be a very ridiculously long life. So yeah, let's say that, 75 years from now, long after I should be gone, that there is still a thriving GSA on my campus would be amazing. Or better yet, not even needing to have a GSA, because everybody's become so accepting that it's not even necessary. People are just able to love who they love and be who they are, and everybody's just like, yeah, of course we do. We let people be who they are and love who they love. Why wouldn't we? Anyway, like, if that's a legacy that I can leave, then I am 100% fine with it, and I don't need my name on it. I just, I would like to be able to know that I have left this world better than I found it. That's it. That's all. Just make some contribution. So no matter how small, put something positive into the world that will reap benefits for other people. It's like, pioneers pressing forward, planting trees whose fruit they would never enjoy. It's like that. That's what I think about. Anyway, moving on. But let's not stop the comedy train, because we basically put the comedy at a screeching halt. Remember comedy? It was like, hey, haha. Wasn't like, oh, don't be gay. Like, who drew what? Anyway, regardless. Yeah, so there was apparently a comedy train. Let's not stop it. Let's go through some apparently true advice given by Mormon apostle Mark E. Peterson on how to not masturbate. This ought to be rich. Step number 1. Never touch the intimate parts of your body, except during normal toilet processes. Always Marky Peterson, is not Boyd K. Packer. The Lord said, hear me. Anyway. Okay. Does this guy look like a guy who has ever masturbated in his life? We are about to find out. Because he might not have ever, given how he tells people to deal with the problem of unwanted masturbating. Like, oh no. Okay. Never touch the intimate parts of your body except during normal toilet processes. You know, your toilet processes where you gotta touch those intimate parts of your body. Like, hey, it's just toilet time. We just got us some toilet time. We got... What? We gotta touch them intimate parts of the body. Anyway, moving onward. Oh, that's right. I did change these up. How to not bang the bishop. That's right. We went through some euphemistic language. By the way, there was a like I want to say theatrical performance, but it was actually performance communication, which is very different. And it's different in that the audience is more bored. I don't know. My major was stupid. So yeah, there was a guy who converted to Mormonism and then found out that he was gay and then was treated very horribly by the Mormon church on his way out. And he wrote this play about it, or one-man show, or performance communication piece, or whatever the crap you want to call it, called Banging the Bishop. And Ira Fulton, who is a Mormon who has lots of money, was like, no, you shall not perform such things at my university. And they were like, but this is a publicly funded university, and, it's a state university. And he's like, I give you lots of money. You do what I say. And they're like, you're right. You give us lots of money. We do what you say. And so this person was not allowed to put on this performance on school grounds. But what it did is it got the word out like extra much, and the crowds were apparently lots of them, and there were way more performances on an off-campus location. So, yeah. Anyway, fun stuff. Okay. How to not shake hands with the milkman. If you are associated with other persons having the same problem, you must break off their friendship. Never associate with other people having the same weakness. Don't suppose that the two of you will quit together. You never will. You must get away from people of that kind. People like yourself? Like, what? Like, don't hang out with people like that. Oh, people like what? People like you, dingus. Don't hang out with them. They're terrible. They're terrible people. Don't hang out with them. They'll make you do horrible things. What kind of horrible things? Like the ones you currently do, stupid. This is great advice. Anyway, just to be in their presence will keep your problem foremost in your mind. The problem must be taken out of your mind, for that is where it really exists. Your mind must be on other and more wholesome things. Okay. So this is apparently for like young men, like the way that this is written, and all of the information I was able to collect on this is apparently for young men, like teenage guys. Okay, teenage guys think about sex like every 0.5 seconds, and so like. Yeah, their mind must be on other more wholesome things. Like, how do you think they're going to just be there thinking about like whole wheat bread? Like my mama's whole wheat bread. That's it. Put 2 loaves of those together and just... I'm telling you, like, a teenage boy can sexualize anything. Anything. Like, girls, here's the stupid thing. Like, you know how, like, a bra strap is, like, you don't want to have it out there unless it's the, like, late 90s, early 2000s, in which case you do. But, like, you don't want to just like have them out there. Most people don't. But if you have a bra strap showing, it's like, who gives a crap, right? Except for teenage boys, this is how disconnected things are, and you need to know this is the lengths that they can go to sexualize something. So this is a woman's undergarment. So like here's the thing is that you're like, okay, that strap. Yeah, that's a strap. It's a bra strap. It's connected to something that goes on underneath the shirt. Under the shirt, it goes down and it connects to a cup that is holding a boobie. Oh my God, I've never seen something so overtly sexual in my life. Oh boy. Like, what? Which is why I think the idea of dress codes are sexist and stupid. I really do. Because most of them are like, young women, you are responsible for the thoughts and behaviors of young men who can't study when your bra straps are out and your, clavicles are showing and you're showing off your midriffs. You show off them midriffs and suddenly all the boys are getting D's in algebra. Well, I mean, they already had D's. The D's are just like extra. Let's just say the boys can't go to the board to do math problems because their D's, how their D's are from looking at your clavicles and your midriffs. Your clavicles and your midriffs, ladies. How dare you? How dare you show your clavicles and your midriffs? Anyway. You gotta keep your mind on them wholesome things, young men. You do. Hey, bring it in, young man. Keep your mind on them wholesome things. Oh, I like bread. Yeah, I like bread. Think about bread. Big, soft, jubbly, wubbly loaves of bread. How your mom leans over when she's baking them, and I can just take a look, and her shirt's just slightly open a little bit, and I just take a peekaboo with just a little bit of ooh. Anyway, regardless, moving on, men. Keep your mind on wholesome things. Bread. Okay. How to not churn your own butter. When you bathe, do not admire yourself in a mirror. Never stay in the bath for more than 5 or 6 minutes, just long enough to bathe and dry and dress. And then get out of the bathroom into a room where you will have some member of your family present. I love this because... So this is my theory for why I think Mark E. Peterson is like completely asexual and has never masturbated. Aside from like the everything about him, like that is a guy who was born before masturbation was invented, and he heard about it and he's like, oh God, no. Anyway. But yeah. So, if you think that masturbation among young men is caused by them looking and admiring themselves, I don't think even if you're gay, you're going to be like looking at yourself and be like, oh, I've got it. Like, you're going to be, what's his name from Silence of the Lambs? I would. I don't want to say the F word on the show. I don't. You say it. Anyway. Me. You said the F word, not me. That's on you. Okay. Anyway, moving on. How to not celebrate Palm Sunday. When in bed, if that is where you have your problem for the most part. Dress yourself for the night so securely that you cannot easily touch your vital parts, and so that it would be difficult and time-consuming for you to remove those clothes. By the time you've started to remove protective clothing, you would have sufficiently controlled your thinking that the temptation would leave you. Okay, hold up. Hold. Find and hold a phone. Are you serious right now? Like, you want someone to, like, take coveralls and zip them up from the back and then put on a hazmat suit and then, oh, no, I got it. you, you're like, good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. And they're like, hey, son, wait a minute. What's that you're wearing for pajamas? Oh, this is a full set of hockey goalie gear. I'm dressed up like Curtis Joseph. You remember Cujo? Cujo, yeah. Played for the Leafs for a while, played for the Coyotes. Friggin' Red Wings did him wrong, and we never forgive them for that. Cujo. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, he is my favorite goalie, and I'm dressing up like him for the bedtimes. Used to wear Ninja Turtle pajamas, and now I wear Curtis Joseph pajamas. And yes, it is necessary for me to wear the blocker glove. And I'm taking the Sherwood stick with me to bed. Sherwood is, in fact, a hockey stick brand. It would have been less funny if I had said Louisville or Coho. Easton is right out. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, you got to wear them difficult clothes. Difficult clothing. Hockey goalie. How to not disturb the waters of Ripley-Ancombe. The waters of Ripley-Ancombe it's a place name from the Book of Mormon. Remember when Shiz and Coriantumr were fighting that great and final battle that is very similar to battles in history where, you know, that exact thing happened exactly like that totally all the time because it's very normal and very accurate depictions of ancient battle tactics. Anyway, here we go. Pray. But when you pray, don't pray about this problem, for that will tend to keep it in your mind more than ever. Pray for faith, pray for understanding of the scriptures, pray for the missionaries, the general authorities. Wait a minute. Isn't Mark E. Peterson a general authority? Is this whole thing a secret scam for him to get extra prayers for himself? I bet it is. He's a prayer hoarder. Good thing God doesn't listen to those. We learned about that. Don't worry about it. Anyway, and your friends, your families, but keep the problem out of your mind by not mentioning it ever. Not in conversation with others, not in your prayers. Keep it out of your mind. Yeah. Yep, don't pray for help with the thing that's a problem. Don't do it. Actually, that's a good idea. Good call. Don't pray for help with the thing that's a problem because God's not going to. He has a plan. And you're going to putz with his plan with your prayers about like, dear God, I keep touching myself in places and it feels extra special. And I was just hoping if maybe you could make me not enjoy it, perhaps, as much. Okay. How to not shuck your own corn. When the temptation to masturbate is strong, yell stop to those thoughts as loudly as you can in your mind. And then recite a pre-chosen scripture or sing an inspirational hymn. It is important to turn your thoughts away from the selfish need to indulge. You're so selfish. You're thinking about yourself and your own thick, juicy, big ol' schlabbity-wabbity. Bring it on down to the buffet. Big old thick, chunky piece of hunk of. Anyway, regardless. I'm getting sidetracked. So, like, here's the problem with this. Like, do you ever yell stop to your own thought processes and have it work ever? Okay. All right. Think about this flower. This one right here. It's supposed to look watercolored. Does it look watercolored? Just think about this flower. Just focus on it. Okay, now yell stop to your brain, and you will never think about this flower again throughout the rest of this thing. You will never look at this flower again. You won't. Okay, moving on. But yeah, here's the other thing is that, like, if you're singing hymns and reciting scriptures, then are you not giving yourself Pavlovian conditioning to where anytime it's like, the natural man is an enemy to God and has been since the foundation of the earth? Like, yeah, it's for real though. Yeah. But anyway, like, or if you just get a hymn in your brain that's like, come, come, ye saints, no toil nor labor fear, but with joy wend that way, baby. Oh, I like the way you wend that way. Get all up on that Wendy way, Wendy. Anyway, regardless, yeah, then all of a sudden you're going to give yourself Pavlovian conditioning where that hymn or that scripture turns you on because you're like, oh no, I have a problem in my pants where my pants are all excited like my pants bits. So I better just say that scripture that I say when my pants bits get excited. Okay, saying that scripture. Doobity-doobity-doo. Oh my God, my pants bits are even more excited now. What am I going to do? Yeah, that's exactly what'll happen. And it'd be like, oh, now I'll sing a hymn. Come, come, you. Oh! He was scared by a ghost. That was a ghost, people. I don't know what you think just happened. It was a ghost. Because ghosts are definitely real. They totally exist. 100%. Because there is unified ghost theory. From one ghost expert to the next, they all agree in precisely the same ways how to find them, how to determine them, how to classify them, how to see them. Actually, the most unified thing is that all ghosts are from like the 1800s and earlier. Like, there are no new ghosts. Anyway, moving on. How to not give yourself a low five. Make a pocket calendar for a month on a small card. Carry it with you, but show it to no one. If you have a lapse of self-control, lapse of self-control. We all know what you did. You just got all up in your lapse. Your self-control in that lapse. You're like, ooh, let me take self-control of this lapse. Anyway. Color the day black. Your goal will be to have no black days. Even the Mormons being all against black things. Anyway, moving on. The calendar becomes a strong visual reminder of the self-control, and should be looked at when you are tempted to add another black day. Keep your calendar up until you have at least 3 clear months. Yeah, that'd totally work. It's like, you know that part where you're a sexually healthy, normal human of your age? Well, there's something that sexually normal humans of your age do, and I want you to not do that for 3 months. Like, what? And then you will reward yourself by being like, I didn't do it for 3 months. Like, all right, okay. Fantastic. How to not burp the worm. By the way, burp the worm is disgusting. Is a disgusting euphemism. I am opposed to it, but I could not find enough euphemisms. I couldn't make up enough off the top of my head. Some of these are mine. I came up with some of these. True story. In the field of psychotherapy, there is a very effective technique called aversion therapy. Okay, hold up. Hold the phone. Wait. Hey, fun fact. I just thought I was recording like 10 minutes worth of video that is now lost for all time because I paused this video while I looked up aversion therapy. Aversion therapy, still used to use it on people who don't consent, is considered inhumane, which makes me wonder about the use of it at all, even with people who are like, yeah, do it, it's fine. Anyway, but yeah, here's his thing on aversion therapy. When we associate or think of something very distasteful with something which has been pleasurable but undesirable, the distasteful thought and feeling will begin to cancel out that which was pleasurable. If you associate something very distasteful with your loss of self-control, it will help you stop the act. For example, if you are tempted to masturbate, think of having to bathe in a tub of worms and eat several of them as you do the act. Okay. All right. When he says do the act, do we do the act of bathing in worms? Because, like, the way that it's written, it makes me think, like, do the act, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about? Do the act. Like, hey, oh, close the door if you're going to do the act in there. I mean, come on. It's your own personal business if you do the act. Anyway, so, yeah, I was just imagining, like, some guy sitting butt naked in a bathtub full of worms, and he's just, like, so happy because he's also, self-pleasuring, and, like, and he's eating worms and sitting on worms and pulling on one of them. And then, like, it just makes them all happy. And then, like, it just seems like a formula for a very weird and specific fetish. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I want to get a poll of Mormon guys in the 1970s who were like, I like worms for some reason. I don't know why. I just like them. I get a thing of night crawlers to go fishing, and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I want to throw these in a bathtub. Like, what? It's a weird thing. Okay. How to not tenderize your own meat. Keep your bladder empty. Refrain from drinking large amounts of fluids before retiring. Okay. Look, buddy. Not all of the things that you do with your male-type genitals, assuming you have some. I mean, we are led to believe that you are, in fact, a gentleman with both an X and a Y chromosome who, like, has the required male equipment. And so, like, if you do, you should understand that, like, there are different substances which could be produced by that particular bit. So, like, you know, pee is not the same as an ejaculation. You know, when that girl is like, oh, yes. Anyway, you might be saying, oh, yes, all by yourself. And that'd be one thing. But, like, needing to pee, that's an entirely different thing. That has nothing to do with anything. This is weird. This is a weird list. How to not wrestle your eel. Reduce the amount of spices and condiments in your food. Eat as lightly as possible at night. Okay. uh spices and condiments. Like you what? You could put some sriracha on some food. You're gonna put some sriracha on some Kahlua pork, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey now, like what? It yeah, like, hey myself, how you doing? You just had a Jalisco taco because Felipe was like, you have to try the Jalisco tacos at my work. And I did. We had some today. They were spicy and delicious. And guess what? Like, spicy and delicious, that's exactly the wrong thing if you want to be a non sinful person, apparently. Oh, I'm so sinful. Just ate them spicy tacos right up. They were so good. Oh my God. Anyway, how to not strangle the Cyclops. Wear pajamas that are difficult to open yet loose and not binding. Okay, wait a minute. They're difficult to open, loose, not binding. What? How can it be all these that like wear pajamas that are both very big and teensy tiny and that are both loose and tight that will both restrict your movement and allow you to move free? Like what? Okay. How to not mix your own mayonnaise. Yeah, I came up with a thank you. That's me. I did that one. Avoid people, situations, pictures, or reading materials that might create sexual excitement. When you are a teenage boy, breathing like your own existence creates sexual excitement because you're all chock full of hormones and you're like, that's all I think about. Like, come on, it's a teenage boy. Oh, like reading materials might create sexual excitement. Like anything, any little thing that's even remotely connected to anything having to do with girls or boys, if that's the way you go, like just makes you like, oh, hey, Beavis, check out that one chick over there. And yeah, and then you're just like, totally. Beavis and Butthead is accurate. Anyway, moving on. How to not grip your Book of Mormon too tightly. It is sometimes helpful to have a physical object to use in overcoming this problem. A Book of Mormon firmly held in hand, even in bed at night, has proven helpful in extreme cases. You get one of them extreme cases where you're like, I'm a healthy male with healthy male sexuality and I just can't stop. And then you're like, I bet if I just grip the ever-loving crap out of this Book of Mormon, I'ma grip it. I'ma grip it till I poke holes in them onion skin pages. Like, I'ma just grip. And, yeah, that's good. That'll stop you. Because as soon as you're asleep, you will maintain your grip on the... Come on. It's crazy talk. And this one, the greatest advice on anything ever. In very severe cases, it may be necessary to tie a hand to the bed frame with a tie in order that the habit of masturbating in a semi-sleep condition can be broken. Semi-sleep condition? Like, what? I was a teenage boy once, but I never, like... woke up and was like, oh, what am I doing to myself? Hey there, friend. Like, what? Never. That never happened. Like, I mean, I'm only basing it off of my own anecdotal evidence, but I'm pretty sure I could ask around and people would be like, no. What? Anyway, yeah. So... Oh, this could be also be accomplished by wearing several layers of clothing, which would be difficult to remove. See, again, the difficult clothes, like you got to wear some of them like Levi's from the 90s that had the buttons where it's like super hard to get that fly open. Like, what? Yeah, wear some of those, and then maybe you won't like choke that chicken or whatever. It's like, why, dude? And yeah, like tie a hand to the bed frame. That's just gonna make it more kinky. You're gonna have like just the weirdest people running around who are like, worms, you know, and and who are like, uh, I wear lots and lots of layers to bed. What? Okay, that's the end. That's the end of all the funny things. Let's go through these, and we'll be done. This program was made possible by the Igneous and Gertrudina Buttcomer Foundation. Let's try that again. I get those names wrong like 97% of the time. They are ridiculous names, and I only see them at the end. Okay, let's try it again. This program was made possible by the Igneous and Gertrudina Buttcomer Foundation and by viewers like you. Promotional considerations provided by Ralph Morgan's Extra Strangly Snakes, the Lonely Ass Librarians Guild, Grandpappy True Reels, Foul Smelling Balms and Gruels, and the one and only True God. This program was directed and performed by the mysterious personage. He thinks you're on to him. Boy, does he ever. Written by Braxton White Guy. He's not actually this gray. Like, he's out of the office right now. And, yeah, Guy is not that gray, 100%. He uses graying creams. Sorry, Braxton, your secret's out. The theme song, hey, we had a theme song. It totally did. Anyway, by the Out of Tuners. Totally exists. This has been a presentation of Non-Sober Badger Productions, a subsidiary of the large, boring-sounding corporation with surprisingly questionable business practices, Lawful Asset Holdings Incorporated, and a branch of the intentionally vague corporation whose purpose may never be fully known, the Blaine Group. And communism, not dead yet, suckers. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the hilarity I have. It's not much, but whatever. It'll be fine. I'll listen to it. Maybe one student will listen to it and they won't tell me because I'll be freaking upset if they do, given some of the content. But like, whatever. Is fun. It's funny. All right. Anyway, people, that's it for this one. Another one in the books. Fantastic. Hope you had some weekend time fun. And we will see you next time. I don't know when next time's going to be. All right, people. We will see you. Okay, bye.